Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. Today's Friday, and just wanted to make another Velocity Banking video for today and kind of make it like Taco Tuesday, but not, it doesn't sound as good. It's Friday cash flow generation. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to increase our cash flow generated out of thin air with this thing called Velocity Banking. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. So, what's Velocity Banking? All it is a debt payoff strategy using a line of credit as your main tool. Okay, so here we have an $80,000 income, and if you ever do the math, $80,000 doesn't seem like that much money anymore. Because as I was doing my budget, I was like, man, if I have a 170,000 mortgage, I'm still kind of broke, and this actually should be 3%, not 6. So if I have a $170,000 mortgage at 3%, I'm still kind of broke because I only got $394 in savings. And I know what some of you are thinking. You're like, where in the country is there a place where you can get a $170,000 mortgage? And they still exist, right? I went to Zillow. I went to Danville, Illinois, right? I've never been there, but look at this. Sold for 79 grand, 57 grand, a 4 bed, 2 bath, 4 bed, 1 bath, 3 bed, 1 bath, 60 grand, 4 bed, 1 bath, 138. So you're looking for some cheap housing, it still exists in the country, probably just not where you're at, right? So, yeah, so again, even if you made $80,000 in this area, it's possible that you'd be broke. I don't know if the cost of living would really be that big of a difference, but um, yeah, I mean, I think an auto loan and the student loan would pretty much be the same, but so yeah, all right. So let's just get started. So what do we need to do to Velocity Banking? Number one is a budget. So we're gonna assume that we have an $80,000 gross income, and maybe we live in, I don't know, Danville, Illinois. We got a really, relatively cheap house compared to what we have in Georgia nowadays. Expenses at $4,605 and $394 in savings. Now, we got some huge credit cards, right? We got $42,000 in credit card debt, an auto loan, a student loan, and a mortgage. Okay? Now, if you ever done any of these velocity banking spreadsheets, you notice that most of the situations are the same, right? Because all you're going to do is write all the possible debts that you have, right? And the most common ones are credit cards, auto loans, student loans, and mortgages. So I have that right here. And then in the very last line item, you write your non-debt expenses. So anything that you do have to pay, food, gas, insurance, and we'll say that our expenses are about $1,800 a month just to live. Okay, so the whole point of this is to get rid of all of the debt here and then increase our cash flow. And the way that we're going to do that is with the help of a line of credit. So recently, I just got a new $20,000 credit card. Okay, and a credit card is a line of credit. So all line of credit is a financial tool where you can borrow money, pay it back, and use it over and over again. So unlike a loan, like an auto loan, student loan, or mortgage, which is a one-way street, it's very hard to get the money back when you overpay. So for example, if I have $394 in savings here, and then I dump that money into the student loan because I'm afraid, oh my goodness, I got to pay my student loans back because if for whatever reason I declare bankruptcy, they don't go away, right? Maybe you have that fear and you put that $394 back in or into the student loan, how do you get that money back? You can't because it's a one-way street. But with a credit card, you can use that money again, right? But just be aware that access to money, okay, usually equates to higher interest rates, which is why credit cards do have higher interest rates with higher interest rates than loans, right? So let's just assume that we have something called a home equity line of credit. So maybe we have $50,000 of equity, and usually the bank will, if you put it up as collateral, home equity, the bank will lend it back to you in the form of a credit card like financial interest instrument. So the really cool thing about this is that you can go to the bank's website, go click a button, and then once you click a button, you could just dump money into your checking account and borrow it at an 8% interest rate. And it'll be immediate. And how do I know this? It's because I got my own home equity line of credit at 280. So and when I go to the bank's website and I click a button, the checking account immediately increases by the amount that I borrowed. Immediate. And I can just put it back, right? I borrow 100 for 1 second and then I put back 100. In fact, I've done that several times already. It's amazing what these tools can do, and you never learn about them really in school, right? So we're just going to assume we have a $50,000 home equity line of credit. And also, we don't assume we have more income. We assume the same income. But here's the thing that we have to kind of live by is that we're not really going to have any savings, right? We're not going to have any savings. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to dump all of our money into the line of credit and also increase our cash flow. And the way that we increase our cash flow is by moving some debt into the line of credit. So you see these two credit cards here. If we move it into the line of credit, it's 42,000, right? $42,000. And guess what happens, okay, to these two credit cards when you move it? This goes to zero and this goes to zero. And now the final step is to put the entire paycheck, $5,000, into that line of credit as a payment. 5,000, overpay it, right? This does two things. It satisfies the minimum monthly payment and it lowers the interest because the interest is calculated by that average daily balance. And then after every single month, the cash flow is going to go down by 1,700. Or I'm sorry, the balance is going to go down by the cash flow amount. So instead of this itty bitty $400 in savings, we got $1,700 in cash flow, right? And so now all we got to do is just kind of show how easy it is to pay off that debt or the line of credit. And then just do this minus, what's our cash flow? 1737.19. So what did I do here? To calculate the next month's balance, it's based on the previous month's balance plus the previous month's interest minus our cash flow, right? And we calculate the interest based on the average daily balance, right? We did the average daily balance, multiply it by the interest rate, 0.08, right? And then you divide by 12. And so what I do is I just copy and paste, and then, yeah, that's all you gotta do, copy and paste. And now, just copy and paste. And then you see in 27 months, this is all paid off. That was easy, 27 months. 27 months, 42K is all paid off for these two credit cards. Now we're credit card free. Now, next is to pay off these loans. Now, if you have $1,700 in cash flow, this would actually now stay in your savings if you're not going to use a line of credit, but we can still keep using a line of credit to pay off our debt, right? Well, this one right here is a 12% auto loan, and we probably could have moved this 12% auto loan in the beginning, except that we didn't have enough room in the line of credit to move it, right? So probably if we had, and actually let me just do this. I'll say I'll rename this credit limit, and then we'll call it available limit, and that will be 50,000 minus G2, right? And I'm going to copy and paste this, and we're going to check at what point we could have moved that auto loan. So if you're going to get really sophisticated here, and I actually did this in a live stream a while back, if you have enough room at probably at this point or this point, you can move that loan into the line of credit and then increase your cash flow. In fact, let's just do this. Let's set up our loan calculator. I'm going to do something that I usually skip over in most videos. So here, if you have these formulas, right, you could actually easily figure out what the current balance of the loan is. So, well, if all you do is put in these three factors, right? So it's 17,000 original balance, 33,000. Oops. Oh, that looks ugly. 33,000, 17,000, right? And what's the interest rate here? 12%. 6 point. Oh, why does that font look so ugly? 6.1%, 6%, and then what's the loan term in years? It's gonna, for auto loan, it's gonna be 5. For a student loan, it's gonna be 10, and then for mortgage, it's 30 years. And let me do this, 10, 30. Okay, so now what we do is we just write what the current month is to figure out what the balance of the loan is, and because all we gotta do right here, if we wanted to do everything in the beginning to include this auto loan, so it took us 27 months to pay it off, but let's see, uh, compare, right? And this is where it gets a little bit tricky and calculated, when we could have moved that auto loan here. So let's say at month 4, right? So let me go to month 4 here. It's 16 grand. Month 5, 15. So let me just go right here. Do we have 15 grand? 15,650 is our available limit. So 1590 is, let's do 6 months. And then 6 months it'll be 1579, right? So this is how I might do it if I'm a little bit more sophisticated. And I would actually add this balance right here. So let me go ahead and highlight that. Ooh, we're making it a little bit more sophisticated today. So hold on. So let me just do this. What am I doing? What am I doing? Copy, paste values. Okay, so plus 15719.42, right? So 15719.42, and you see how that's under that $50,000 credit limit? Well, guess what happens here? Oh, this goes to zero, right? This goes to zero, and our cash flow increases to 2115.34, right? And then all we do is copy and paste, and then we'll see, right? So we'll see how long it takes us to pay off everything, including the auto loan. So now, at 32 months, let's just do it this way. So 32, so what's 42 plus 17? So in 32 months, we paid off 59K, okay? That was easy, right? And we just kind of do the same thing over and over again. And so now in month 32, right, let's just go to month 32 right here, 32. All right, and then we see that this is, the balance is $26,000. Did I screw this one up? I totally did. This would be $170,000, right? Did I do 6%? What am I doing? I am totally screwing up. This should be 3. And then this is 3, right? So that matches what we have in our budget right here. 760. Yep. Okay. So now we see that in month 32, the balance of the student loan is about 26 grand. Now the question is, should we move this to the line of credit? And the answer is, it probably is okay, but doing something called a chunky method is probably more efficient. But to be honest, like if you just do an apples to apples comparison, you're probably only paying like a couple, I don't know, $100 more in interest. I probably need to do the math if you move it to a line of credit. So let's just do it here anyways, and then I'll just quickly demonstrate with the mortgage what the chunking method is. So if I just kind of go in here, and then I do Control V, and then I do this, and then I add that student loan, 26059.53, right? If I do that, well, guess what happens to the student loan? We get an extra 300 bucks. So our cash flow is now $2,483.37, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to paste the values, and then we're going to just do right here, 2483.37. And let's see how long it takes to pay off this student loan, which is 43 months. Okay, see how easy it was? 43 months. 43 months. And then this is going to be 59K, so 59 plus 33. That's going to be 92K, okay? 92K. And then after 43 months, what's the current balance of the mortgage? Okay. So here's the thing, right? How much I always like to do this comparison. So 43 months, how much of the principal do we pay off? Well, and what do you mean? What's the principle? If you never heard of the term, it's how much of the loan balance did we pay off? So to calculate that, it's the original balance, which is 170 minus 156. So we paid off 14K of debt in 43 months. But in order to pay off that 14K of debt, we paid 17 grand of interest. 17 grand of interest, right? And so what if we move this 14K into the line of credit, and how fast would it take for us to pay off? So I'm not saying that you need to move 14K. I'm just doing a quick demonstration of semi apples to apples comparison. But let's move 14K, and then let's do this. And we see it took us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 months to pay off 14K. Isn't that amazing? And so the whole point of this is that you're going to use the help of a line of credit to overpay your mortgage, but not segregate your income, right? And the biggest issue that most people have is that when they have leftover savings, they have a very hard time throwing it into the loan just because the loan is a one-way street. And let's say they do throw everything into the loan, then their cash flow becomes fragmented. And what happens is segregation of income. So it's a very conceptual idea, but take a look here, right? So why is it that we have struggle in paying off our debts is because when our paycheck comes in, the paycheck gets split into many different ways. One, two, three, four, five different ways, and thus we're making minimum payments on everything, generating interest or profit for the banks, right? And so we can essentially overpay instead of using our savings directly with the line of credit, and it's just pretty much the same effect, right? So let's just go ahead and open up the Velocity Banking Calculator. Give me one moment. Well, folks, so we got the Velocity Banking Calculator up and running by Renatus. And so if you don't know what Renatus is, it's an educational company which I'm an independent contracted marketer for. So what does that mean? It just means I just resell their products and I get a commission off of it. So if you're interested in not only learning about Velocity Banking, but real estate investing education, as well as financial literacy, go ahead and click the Google form link below. And if you register, you can get this free calculator as well, or a calculator as a bonus, not for free. Anyways, so you take a look here, you just put this in 4.5 years, bam, 11 grand of interest paid in that 4.5 years. Oh my goodness, that was so easy. That was so easy. I know I keep saying that, but this, a lot of you just kind of overcomplicate this, in my opinion. But 43 divided by 12 plus 4.1 or 4.5. I don't even know. 4.5. Okay. 4.5 years. All right. So 4.5. So that in 8.08 years, we are completely debt free. Debt free Friday. That sounds actually pretty good. Debt free Friday. I should have done that as a thumbnail, but it's too late because I already created the thumbnail. I'm too lazy to change it. But yeah, I gotta. That's gonna be the next title of my video. Probably next Friday, Debt Free Friday with Velocity Banking. But take a look at this. Now this is zero, and now our cash flow has gone to from our itty bitty savings of $394 to $3,200 of cash flow. And then now what we do is we're actually going to have savings, right? So this is going to be C5 multiplied by multiplied by 1, and then after every single month it's going to be 2, and then after every single month it's going to be 3, or I'm sorry, it's going to increase by 1, and then we see that, man, we're just going to have what I call rich people problems. And I'll tell you what, I'd rather be here and have the rich people problems than be here and have the poor people problems, right? So, okay. All right. Well, that's it for today, everybody. Happy Friday. We're in the Debt Free Friday. It's Cash Flow Generation Friday, or Friday Cash Flow Generation. I'm just trying to make up witty names that aren't really that witty, similar to Taco Tuesday. It's Taco. Why is it Taco Tuesday? Just because it's Tuesday, and people love tacos, right? All right. Well, that's it, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll speak next time. This is Cranial Mentorship.